Psalm 65 through 67 and 69 and 70. Well, we've been using the Psalms to clarify the story of Israel that we've heard so far. Of course, Yahweh has called Israel, and Israel is responding in faith to Yahweh. And the story of Israel with the nations is also becoming clear as we listen to the diary, as it were, of David and others in the Psalms. That relationship is both good and bad. And let's use some examples and start with the good side. O you who hear prayer, to you all flesh will come. There is that hope, that prayer almost, that the nations will see the goodness of Yahweh to Israel and respond by also becoming loyal to Yahweh. Psalm 66:4, all the earth shall worship you and sing praises to you. They shall sing praises to your name. They'll do the same thing that Israel does when they see his goodness. 67:7, God shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. So this is within the Psalms all the way through, but even in our reading today we saw that. Now on the other hand, there is a relationship between Israel and the nations that we can predict based upon how, as we've noticed, David wiping out, slaughtering entire villages and pushing the boundaries of Israel to its greatest size to this point. Even when you think back, the very story of Abraham and on is a story of conquest, because when Abraham came into the land of Canaan, it was not unoccupied. So to hear God say, this is your land, when someone's already living there, is to imply, of course, that conquest is part of the deal. So when it came to the Passover, that would be the destruction of Egypt. When it came to the conquest of Joshua, that would be the killing of many thousands of people then as well. So all through history, or all through the history of Israel, the relationship between Israel and the nations has been a tense one, because we have two sides. We have the hope that Israel will see the nations love Yahweh. At the same time, Israel's going in and, well, to be frank, slaughtering them. So we'll hear verses like this: O Lord God of hosts, awake to punish all the nations, and do not be merciful to any wicked transgressor. Psalm 59:13, consume them in wrath, consume them that they may not be, and let them know that God rules in Jacob. What an odd, back and forth. Let them know that God rules here, and by the way, don't be merciful to them over here. And then in our reading today, Psalm 69:24, pour out your indignation upon them and let your wrathful anger take hold of them. All right, so what do we do with this, this very clear tension that I think we can see in the story that we are coming upon here? The first thing I would do is just admit it's there. Use the Psalms, the lengthy time that it takes to read through the Psalms, to really see this tension grow and develop and become very black and white in how it's being presented. Take it from both sides, or feel what it's like to be on both sides. Be an Israelite in your mind for a moment and think like this. And then be a non-Israelite and think of what it must have been like to be them. Don't rationalize this. I would not try to say it was a good thing that they wanted to destroy the nations in that sense. Again, it doesn't really help your missionary endeavor to hate the person you're trying to evangelize, does it? We also need to take this story very seriously, because we need to have it set or put into place so that we have things like this in the future. Just so you know, things like this will be happening. Elijah will kill 450 prophets of Baal. Jonah will weep when God does not destroy the Ninevites. James and John in the New Testament will ask Jesus to bring down fire and destroy the Samaritans. Peter in Acts 10 will refuse to eat with a righteous Gentile. In other words, the tension between the Jew and the non-Jew is going to not only Well, it's here now, but it will only intensify as our story goes forward. So it's good to see it here and really take it into account. In fact, I would make it as severe as it is. And what I mean by that is put it into play. Be ready for this story to find some solution, not in a normal, just a kind of a playing out of events, but something, here's how I'd say it, or what I would expect to happen. And I don't want to give too much away for the rest of the story, of course, but we need to be thinking like this. There needs to happen something so major, so severe, so unexpected, that this kind of story can have a complete reversal. But something has to happen that is, again, major in the storyline. This will not take care of itself, put it that way. We need to be able to see someday when someone says, "Blessed is the peacemaker," we need to be able to sense the shock value that that statement brings.